Hey, what's going on, weavers? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And in today's video, we're looking at 6 single strand stopper knots that you should know. Some of these are decorative, some of these are practical. But I'm sure you'll find a use for each one of these knots in your daily life as well as your paracord crafting. Let's get into it. First up is the Celtic button knot, also known as the single strand diamond knot. We're going to start off by making 2 counterclockwise loops. There's 1 and 2. And notice that the standing end is laying on top. And with that standing end, we're going to pass it through that middle section. We're going to go over, and under these sort of 4 strands that are laying across like so. And bring that standing end back around to the right side. And then we're going to go through that lobe on the right side, go under the next 2 strands and through the middle of the knot and bring that standing end to the front. Okay, now from here, all we have to do is cinch up our knot. So pull on both opposite ends of the rope and our Celtic button knot should start to come together. There will be a bit of excess slack in the knot, so pull all of that slack from one side of the knot all the way out to the other. And once you've got that firmed up, we have our Celtic button knot or single strand diamond knot. A lot of uses for this one in terms of paracord crafting, mainly decorative. You can use it for single strand bracelets as a stopper knot, or to decorate your bracelets and lanyards any other way you want. Number 2, the figure 8 knot. This one is super simple. You're going to pass the tail of the rope over itself to form a loop. Continue under and around the standing end, and you're going to finish the knot by passing the tail down through the loop. From here, pull it tight, and we have our figure 8 knot. The figure 8 knot has many practical uses. It is a quick and convenient stopper knot that can be undone very easily. It is also the basis for many other mountain climbing knots. Number 3, the double overhand knot. I'm going to wrap my paracord twice around my index finger, away from me. I'm going to take that end and pass it through those 2 loops, and then tighten the knot, and that will form our double overhand knot. This knot has both practical and decorative uses. I like using it as a stopper knot on my beglerie. However, it also is used in boating, climbing, and is also the basis for other useful knots such as the double fisherman's knot or the double overhand noose. Number 4, the barrel knot. This knot is very similar to the double overhand knot. I'm going to take my piece of paracord, and this time I'm going to wrap it 3 times around my finger, forming 3 loops wrapping away from me. I'm also moving slightly to the left with these loops. And then with the tail of the rope, I'm going to pass that tail through the 3 loops and tighten the knot. Like the double overhand knot, this knot has both practical and decorative uses. However, it is often widely used in climbing and rappelling as a stopper knot. Number 5, the Stevedore knot. I'm going to take the tail of the rope, put a bend in it, and bring it back towards the standing end. Now I'm going to make 2 loops wrapping around that bend. It's 1 loop, the second loop, and after the second loop, I'm going to pass that tail through the bend that I made, and then pull on the standing end, and also tighten up the coil. And after you've firmed up that coil, you have tied the stevedore knot. At this point, if you want, you can clip off that excess cord and melt it, and that will give you a very nice single strand stopper knot. Great for use for lanyards and other paracord craft projects. However, the stevedore knot makes a moderately reliable, bulky single strand stopper knot that you can use to prevent the rope from passing through grommets and other things. Number 6, the monkey's fist. I'm going to take my working end and make 2 passes around my index and middle finger. And then I'm going to change directions and start wrapping perpendicular to that, another 2 passes. I'm going to stack those 2 passes going upwards. And make sure your passes are stacking properly on top of each other. At this point, I'm going to add a tiny ball bearing for a bit of weight. This is actually slingshot ammo. Now I'm going to take out my index and middle finger. I'm going to take that standing end and start wrapping through the 2 spaces above and below the ball bearing. This time wrapping vertically again, and I'm going to do another 2 passes. And when wrapping in this direction, it looks almost like you're doing 2.5 passes. And we're going to finish up top like so. And from here now we're just going to cinch out all the excess cord. Now again, I did do a mini monkey's fist. You can make a slightly larger monkey's fist with a marble instead of the small ball bearing I used, but just for this video I decided to do another mini monkey's fist. You do the same process except do 3 passes instead of 2. So I'm working all the slack out of my monkey's fist. And you want to make sure you pull all the excess from one end of the monkey's fist out to the other. Be sure to pay attention to where you're going with the direction of the slack, because you could be just pulling it back and forth and going nowhere. And this will just take a bit of practice to get used to. Now I also want to hide the tail end of my rope here. You don't have to do this, but I'm just doing this for aesthetics. And I'm pulling the tail of the rope almost just underneath the 2 passes there and working that slack all the way through out to the other end of the monkey's fist. And again, I'm going to work that slack all the way out to the standing end. And there we have our monkey's fist knot. Has many practical but also decorative uses, such as lanyards and key fobs. But in terms of practicality, it really is used to weigh down one end of a rope so that you can throw it over something. And it has seen a lot of nautical use in that sense. And there we have it, guys. 6 single strand stopper knots, some practical, some decorative, some both. There are many other great single strand knots out there, but I hope you guys enjoyed this collection here. Let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite, and I hope you all will try tying these knots. As always, a huge thank you to all my Patreon supporters. If you want access to exclusive Patreon videos as well as other perks, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link in the video as well as down below. You can join for as low as $3 a month. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what I did in this video, feel free to check out what I have to offer on the rest of my channel.